Welcome to One Take Wine. What are we even doing here? Fighting February. That's what we're doing, and luckily we have wine on our side. Today, 3 more splendid versions, I hope. A little on theme from the last outing, in the sense that they're all from 2019. Let's get started. What do we got in the glass? Light pearish fruit. I think it's much more pear. Maybe just a touch of gooseberry without the acidity. Almost like very tiny molecules, very tiny particles, creating this big wash of flavor. Very pale color. It is 2019. Perhaps just a squeeze of lemon or even lime. And boy, oh boy, is this ever a mineral. Very, very long in the mouth. Like I say, that fruit is very saturating. Takes over the palate a little bit, plays around a little. Starts tasting a little biscuity, a little cookie-like. This is a very, very good wine. We're back with the Eagle, the white wine from the grape Albillo. Albillo. Absolutely delicious. These are super old vines. Spends like 30 months, I'm pretty sure, in used French oak barrels, whole cluster, natural yeasts, etc., etc. Another very high quality outing for this wine. As a matter of fact, on release, I picked up a couple, and then today I went back after having tasted this to pick up some more, and they were gone. They were out all over Sweden. 5,912 bottles and 225 magnums, 13% alcohol. Just a rip-roaring type of white wine. In past years, and even in this year, I'm going to go ahead and say it. It reminds me of young Rouleau. When Rouleau wines are young, I get that pear flavor. It's quite exotic, the fruit. This, especially in past vintages, dissipated fairly quickly, and then I realized, okay, it's not a Chardonnay. This maintains that facade a little longer. It would be a fun bottle to have at a blind tasting. Difficult to identify. The quality is so high that you just want to go with a big producer. Really great stuff if you see them, as with all wines from Dominio del Aguila. Pounce. Let's move on to the second wine. What do we got in the glass? Something a little darker. Oh, okay. Right away I got a lot of wood smoke and black licorice, salt, dark black currant type fruit. Heavy, but there's that lift coming from the back. It's just lovely. Still a bit tight, obviously young, as we know. We're into 2019 today. A bit astringent, but the fruit is still very sweet and very accommodating and very welcoming and very open for business. I'm not going to say green pepper, but it is a little bit pepperish in the sense of that high note, that sort of mentholated note, but it's also vegetal. That always sounds terrible, but it isn't. That's the way these types of wines should be. And I mean, the perfume on this starts to even evoke a little bit of Bordeaux, kind of tobacco-y, cigar-y type of sensations. This is a bottle I was very excited to try. Domaine de Closiers, and this is their top bottling, the Trezellières, 2019. I've already done videos on just the Closiers, the basic bottling, and then the Coudray. That wine I really enjoyed. That saw no wood whatsoever. These are Cabernet Francs, by the way, 100%. And that saw no wood at all, which was an interesting choice because it kept the wine very accessible and very approachable in its youth. This sees wood, and there's a little bit of astringency, and you can see that it's going to take a little time in bottle and settle down. It's going to eat its wood, but it's going to happen fairly quickly because this is not 100% new wood or anything like that. Domaine de Closiers has connections with Closiers. There is that input with this, and I can sort of see just in the cleanliness of the fruit, of the approach, because often with Loire Cabernet Francs, my objection to them is often that they're a little one-dimensional. People will argue with me about this because I know people are crazy about Loire wines, and I understand. they'll say things like fresh, but I just find them so one-dimensional. They're fresh, yes, but they're also dark and sort of plodding along, and they're hardly ever vivacious. And then when I get into Closiers wines, I'm always over the moon. I'm always thinking Burgundy, the highest expressions of Burgundy, even. So you know that the wines there can be that great. This reminds me more of Bordeaux, actually, than Burgundy, but it's lovely. I must say it's clean and it's fresh, it's elegant, and it has some oomph to it. It has a little bit of mustard. I wouldn't buy the Coudray again just because I think it's a little too simple. For now, I'm sure it'll come with time. You know, they've only been around since 2020, I think, or well, no, this is 2019, so they've been around a little longer than that, but it's not too much longer. This has got more complexity to it, more density to it. 2019, Domaine de Closiers, Trezellières, an excellent purchase should you come across a bottle and still within affordability ranges. So far, that'll probably go through the nose. On to the third wine, shall we? What do we got in the glass? Ooh. Some very deep brewed tea, and it's not altogether just black tea. A little bit of the barn in there too. There's some leaves, possibly some salvia. But I think there's more to it. There's more medicine to this. More red fruit in this wine. A very lovely tart red cherry strawberry combo. Kind of delicious in its way. An odd expression. I believe there's some Mencia in this, but I think there's probably some Grenache as well. This producer, especially with these lots, tends to do a lot of bush vines. There could be a million zillion different grapes that I'll never be able to pronounce, so I won't bother trying to find out. It's a bit of a mystery as well. They're not always forthcoming with what those blends are. I think you're just supposed to enjoy the wine. It's got this wild expression to it, like unkempt hair and a grizzled beard type of feel to it. Like that it is. It's just, this is me in my natural state. But don't take me for a fool. There's a message in it. It is very strawberry, actually. It's much more strawberry than cherry. The soured cherry kind of comes in at the end with the strawberries up front. And then that big black tea and some dark licorice and then some medicinal type of herbs and a nice freshness to it. It's darker. It has a dark backstop to it, like a sort of a finishing point. On the horizon, it's very dense and sort of heavy in there and settled. And the rest of it is it's almost light. It's the exact opposite. It's exuberant and sort of joyful and open and expressive. Very perfumed and kind of complex. I think this is a nature vins lover's vin with some sophistication so that it can sort of cross the boundary for other people's tastes. I don't think it'll be for everybody. I've had past vintages of this where I found it to be too tough and too maybe simple or not rewarding enough for the amount of effort that you have to put in to try and kind of understand a wine like this, because it's not as forthcoming, it's not as obvious, and so you have to spend some time with it and sort of seduce it and coax it out of the glass and see what's going to happen. And enough said, let's take a look at what it is. I'll try and pronounce this. The Falcoeira a Capilla, single vineyard from Telmo Rodriguez, who I like very much as a producer. I have bought some of his other single vineyard wines. As a matter of fact, there's one that's much more on the blueberry side of the spectrum as well, bush vine type of approach. Blends, absolutely delicious. Ascaborcas that I buy every year. This is a red fruit expression. It's quite different. It's red fruit and a little bit more medicinal, even if some of that herbal sort of quality is in the Ascaborcas as well. Maybe not as elegant as the Ascaborcas, not as forthcoming. This doesn't remind you of Burgundy. Ascaborcas does, other than the fact that it's a blueberry type of flavor. It sort of has an elegance, a fluidity that this wine doesn't have. This one's a bit rougher around the edges, but so much character in these things. They're both worthwhile, trying at the very least. I don't know that I'll keep buying this version. I'll keep buying the Ascaborcas when I see them because, hey, they're great. That's what I had for this time. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll come back and see me sometime. And until then, Stay thirsty.